unstable table.
Or Supper Club Media, that works well.
Because one podcast isn't enough.
But the unstable table. There's a bunch of politicians that don't agree with anything, and the table is constantly wobbling, and their chairs are off kilter, and they're constantly falling off.
Maybe you could see somebody's true character.
Yeah.
They have to work together to stay balanced on the table.
Mm-hmm.
The unstable table. I feel like I could, you could get a group of my ex-girlfriends around over dinner, and that would be a good name for it.
Well, yeah, it'd be a small table because how many do you have? Though, I mean,
it would be
you have one.
It's a very small table. I tried to make a joke work for my life that just wouldn't.
It'd be like a TV tray table.
Beaver Dam, Wisconsin's got peppers and a stage. Beaver Dam, Kentucky's where Bill Monroe first played. Beaver Dam, anywhere the people all say, have a gosh dang beaver darn great damn day.
Well, we're going to have to mention in the beginning that this is the Great Beaver Fiasco, and then we'll throw that in there. But I like to feel that even though we try to go for comedy on this, we try to have honest conversations, right? I mean, the point of this podcast was us getting together, and we don't really know what we're going to talk about.
No, we don't. I kind of think that it's just like free eavesdropping, when people tune in and listen. I mean, I would love to listen to three friends talk.
Really?
And maybe I have. Yes.
Maybe we found three friends here.
Is that what you do with the microphones when we're not recording?
Does anyone need any wool dryer balls?
A wool dryer ball.
I forgot they were in my backpack.
Whoa, don't
you just put them on the charcuterie.
You got wax paper on. I don't even know what this is. These are clearly Kit Kats and Snicker bars.
That is a chocolate charcuterie tray, or as I call it, a chocolatey cooter.
Ooh, love that.
Don't call it that. Don't call it that at all.
Call it a chocolatey cooter. That's what it's a charcuterie tray with chocolate.
I would rather have a chocolatey cooter than a charcuterie tray. Yeah.
Would you like any of this chocolate?
Well, I think that,
I feel like she'll like all of it.
He probably needs to.
You have to be the one to unwrap it.
Oh, do I have to unwrap it? Is that how that works?
Since you brought it.
Near the microphone?
You really went all out on this tray.
This is a very thoughtful tray. This has got at least 7 types of chocolates on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have.
Is that a turtle?
There's nothing that fancy.
No, it looks like Twix, either Milky Way
Almond Joy.
You do have Snickers on there, maybe. Kit Kat, and yeah.
You are an Almond Joy fan, aren't you?
I do not hate Almond Joy. I don't know that I would ever buy an Almond Joy.
Okay.
But if it were to come in the big Halloween package, and I were to have a few pieces of candy, I would make one of them an Almond Joy to maybe mix it up a little bit.
Okay.
A little something different.
So Almond Joy with the nut or Mounds without?
Well, Mounds is dark chocolate. I almost think the question is...
I thought Almond Joy had the dark chocolate.
No,
is it Mounds milk?
Mounds has
as we can see on this charcuterie board.
The chocolate cooter.
Chocolate cooter.
You guys are totally... I love you both, but Mounds is milk chocolate. Mounds is not dark chocolate.
It is dark chocolate.
No, it is not.
I bet
looks,
you...
right there, it looks like milk chocolate.
For charcuterie responsibilities for the next podcast.
Ooh.
Whoever gets this wrong has to provide...
You guys are so wrong.
What do you mean whoever gets it wrong?
Whoever gets it right...
Because you and I are in agreement.
Right, whoever gets it wrong gets to eat the other person's charcuterie. Doesn't sound right.
I'm so confused.
Whoever gets it wrong...
I always thought Almond Joy was a dark chocolate candy. When do they switch it on me?
I don't think they switched it on you. I think it's always been that way.
This is the Mandela effect or something. Oh, wow.
I do think we should have a show on the Mandela effect.
Yeah, I would love that.
We're going to have to
warn me ahead of time, okay?
Well, a quick hint on the Mandela effect. Do you have a top Mandela effect?
No.
Okay.
The one that comes to mind, of course, is the Berenstein Bears or the Berenstein Bears.
Yeah.
But that's such a minuscule one. I don't really like that one.
I mean, I have two of them that come to mind right away. The first one is Tinkerbell starting off Disney programming in front of the castle and making a little twinkle with her wand.
She did that all the time, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Not according to Disney.
They never had Tinkerbell? I swear I remember Tinkerbell.
Yes, she did. What are they saying? They're just denying it now?
Well, now they're just creating
They're saying there's no such thing as it. It's the same thing as the Fruit of the Loom, which I remember growing up with Fruit of the Loom. And I remember the cornucopia on there. I don't know if you heard
Yes,
that one.
I do.
Supposedly was a cornucopia in the logo. Well, there's no existence of the cornucopia in the logo anywhere on this planet. Now, who is saving underwear from 1983? I don't know.
Oh, I bet you I could find somebody.
Frugal individuals who are
But
smart.
in both cases, I suspect that both Disney and Fruit of the Loom are just trying to cash in on word of the mouth marketing and free marketing.
I would say so.
At the end of the day, but they deny it. They completely deny it. Or I want to say, like in Disney's case, like maybe they farmed it out and allowed the networks to run like a little promo that wasn't necessarily theirs, but it was approved. That's kind of my theory about that.
Like ABC.
I remember watching
All the
Walt
time.
Disney World, though, on Sunday night
Sunday nights, exactly.
at my grandma's
That's
house,
it,
and
yeah.
she had a little black and white TV set. And I remember seeing that, like, for sure.
Well, there's no video of it. If you go looking for a video, you're not going to find video, which I suspect that Disney didn't put it on their VHS and DVDs. I don't think it was part of that. I think it was exactly what you said. Sunday nights is when I remember it, and they would have programming on ABC or CBS. I always get those confused, which at the time I don't think was owned by Disney.
Probably not.
So they
no.
might have had some type of collaborative agreement that allowed them to use some of their licensing properties for promotional purposes. So my guess would be Disney could deny this exists all they want. My guess would be like ABC or something, maybe their local affiliates have this in their archive somewhere.
Okay, we actually have a photograph of myself with one of my sisters in front of that TV set. The TV set was on. It was Sunday
with
night.
Tinkerbell.
At that exact moment,
I have to go home and look at this photo.
this is
I don't.
a 3-inch black and white TV that
It was
we're talking
very
about.
small.
This is like the
it was probably
Zapruder
like
film.
12 by
A
12.
Polaroid.
What?
It's like the Zapruder film.
Right.
We have proof now.
Well, I don't know if, that's what's on in the background. I mean, it could be anything from like Mutual's Kingdom's Wild Omaha.
Close.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah, not
Mutual
at
of
all.
Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
There you go.
Or the Waltons or...
Yeah, wasn't Mutual of Omaha? Isn't that a bank? Mutual of
It
Omaha?
was. They were one of the first people to squeeze a promo into the title of something long before Dana Carvey's Taco Bell Dana Carvey show. Does anybody remember
I
that?
never
No, I don't remember
recall
that at
That
all.
was an actual show?
Dana Carvey had like a variety show for like 4 episodes that was called like the Taco Bell Dana Carvey show.
That sounds about right.
Anyway, I don't know that I think our JFK historians listening might be reluctant to say that the Zapruder film proved anything. In fact, maybe it really just opened more cans of worms than it closed cans of worms. I don't know how you dismount.
Why
from
do they
that
say that? I've never seen a worm can anywhere.
Well, it's a Mandela effect. Back in
Well,
the 1800s, people were eating worms all day long.
Wouldn't it have something to do with people going fishing? I don't know. I've never seen it either because worms creep me out.
Yeah, but then wouldn't that be a styrofoam cup of worms?
I have no idea. I don't go fishing.
With a plastic top.
With a plastic top.
I only fish
got
for
it.
compliments,
even
and you don't
fish.
need worms for that.
Okay, speaking
See.
of that, that's something I want to circle back on.
That's right. We were going to talk about something.
We're going to talk about the faux pas I made at the end of last week's episode of the Great Beaver Fiasco.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the
Facebook.
dream journal I've been keeping all week.
Well, we are.
I
it looks
have
like
that too.
yes. I didn't bring mine, but I do remember my dreams.
Okay. I only wrote down one night's worth of dreams.
One night. Please tell me you had more dreams than
3
that.
days ago.
But you dreamt more often.
I know
than
I
that.
had more dreams, but I only had the journal by my bedside. window.
Okay, yeah. And I'm really glad we did this because I came to a realization about my dreams and I'm actively going to change them and it will change my life.
It's going to change
for
the whole
better.
world.
Wow.
Thank you for my book back.
Just
Yes.
sign up for LA's class. $19.99 per month will get you all the insights into changing your dreams that you'll need.
I want to thank
That's
you
right.
for letting me borrow 12 Years a Slave.
Did you read it?
I finished. Yeah, I had the book for like 6 weeks.
Wasn't that a movie? Why'd you read the book?
Well, I saw the
Because-
movie, and I love the movie, but I've never read the book. And I finished it up on Sunday. I was out with my cat Lindy outside and wrapped it up. And
Perfect.
it's a quick ending. It really just kind of ends like he's back home, and here's what I found out. Here's the court case with Mr. Birch, I think it
Spoiler
is.
alert.
Well, I mean, this really happened. Of course, 12 Years a Slave. Solomon
Nobody pays
Northup.
attention to history anymore.
Well,
they don't know
should
how.
because if you are having a bad day, like I often think about him, because even to just try to write a note to try to secure his freedom to give to someone. He was kidnapped and forced into slavery for 12 years. He was a free man.
We're talking
Solomon Northup, yes.
Northup, yeah.
And it took him days upon days upon days to collect syrup and trying to boil this down just so he could write a simple note. And it didn't even work. I mean, he never gave up. For 12 years, he never gave up trying to get back to his family.
Wow.
And so if I'm like, yeah, I really don't feel like getting up right now to go to my cushy, workplace. Mm-hmm. I mean, what he had to do, it makes what I do just seem like a cakewalk.
It puts a lot of things in perspective.
Yes, it does. Aside from the fact, too, that the man that actually did secure his freedom, not to whatever about my ancestors. Well, I guess I can't because I'm not actually related to them. But Mr. Bass was the person that secured his freedom.
Oh, so somebody named Bass.
Yes.
That was their first name or their last name?
Well, there was a last name.
It would be weird if it was a
What's
first
his
name.
I can't recall his first name.
Yeah,
either.
I can't either. But I actually
Was
know
it
one
Lawrence
of his.
Angelo?
No, actually, it's from the Bass family that was from the north that actually came over on the Mayflower. I'm from the Southern Bass family.
Southern Bass.
Southern Bass family, yes.
But you moved up north eventually.
Well, they did eventually, yes. But I actually do know a descendant of that Bass. But the interesting thing, though, about Solomon Northup, too, is that no one knows what happened to him after this.
Okay, it's very peculiar because he goes quiet in 57. He was in Ontario, I think in Canada. He was giving a speech and the crowd was really aggressive toward him. And he went off stage and there's almost no history. We don't know if he was kidnapped again. Most historians don't think that he was because of his age at that time, but we don't know anything else about him.
How or when he died?
Yeah.
Mystery.
Sequels weren't very popular back then.
No, they weren't.
No, unfortunately not.
But I mean, I would recommend the movie if you're not a book reader. But I mean, obviously, there's artistic license in the movie here and there. So
that's what we should do. We should get into an artistic licensing business.
Okay.
It's one of the few movies where Michael Fassbender shows that he has range as an actor. You don't usually see that in a Michael Fassbender movie.
I'm going to have to Google Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, I actually have to say I don't remember who he was
He's
in the movie.
Magneto in X-Men Days Past.
Oh, is he in any DC movies?
He's in, no, he's not. But he's in the Ridley Scott Prometheus and the other alien. He plays David the android.
Oh, is he in any good Aliens?
Okay.
He's not in any good Alien sequel or prequel movies, no.
I love those movies.
All right, so we got that. No, then the Dream Journal? Is that what's on tap for today?
I actually have to
Yeah, and then we're going to have to go back again, though, to the whole compliment thing.
Oh, yes, we have to go back to the compliment thing. I have to check my wings in the oven right now.
All right.
Oh.
You do that.
Wow. That
Well,
sounds like
Craig,
the
let's
setup for
carry
somebody
on.
hitting
Yes.
on somebody in a bar.
I have to go check my wings on the stove.
Yeah. Did it hurt when you fell out of the kitchen, Thomas?
You certainly know some lines for being happily married for so many years.
Well, if either of those lines have been successful for anybody in the last 40 years, I would be shocked.
Yeah, so would I.
What is, you've had to have had lines thrown at you throughout your life.
Of course.
What bubbles to the top? What is a? You're making chicken wings over there?
He's making chicken wings. Yes, he is. He's actually making. This is what happens when we are recording in Thomas's kitchen.
What is a line that somebody has used on you successfully or unsuccessfully that is memorable enough for you to regurgitate in 2024?
I have to say none of them were successful. That I can remember.
So you didn't get any of
Not from any lines. I mean, they were just lame. I do remember one specific line from college. I don't even think it could be considered a line, but this guy thought, honestly, that he was so cool. All he had to say to me was, "What's up?"
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Of course,
it didn't work.
So somebody can't just try to strike up a friendship with you by saying "What's up"? Or you would be that confrontational about it.
Given the environment, yeah. I don't think I would. I mean, I don't know if I've had anybody ask me that question in the past 3 decades, maybe, except for
What's
maybe
up?
a child.
has asked you what's up?
Maybe.
What about 20 years ago when what's up was like all the rage and it was
Say
on
that again.
commercials?
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
What's up? That was like really annoying when.
No, I actually did have someone sing the entire song. I don't know the name of the song, but it's Why Do Birds Suddenly Appear?
Wow.
Yeah, they actually had a little
They
like
sang that to you?
laptop, like piano keyboard thing. And they brought it into the room and they sat next to me and they sang the entire song to me. And I was very uncomfortable.
Is it because they were not good musicians, or is it because it was just a lame thing to do?
No, he actually sang very well. Did have a good voice.
And he played well, too.
But it was awkward. Yes, it was very awkward.
Was it in a public place or private?
You know those common rooms that dormitories have in college? It was like a place like that. Yeah.
My mother recently moved into a wonderful kind of group living home, and as we were moving her in there, she had struck up a conversation with a lady, and we thought they were like really hitting it off, and like everything was like, oh, this will be like your
Mom made a friend. Yeah,
your first like BFF. And so like we asked her a couple days later, like, oh, how is so and so, and she's kind of scrunched up her face and we're like, what happened? And it was such a Seinfeld moment. She was like, I heard her singing like in group.
And that's what did it.
That was it. Like, she's not going to give her time to anybody that would sing in public, apparently. Let's cut this out of the
I'm
podcast
with her about that, though.
This isn't going to
Your
come back
mom's
around
on
your
it.
mom. This is
Crying out
fine.
loud.
Wow, I agree with that.
Well, I just, I wouldn't want any. I'm sure the woman is still there, so
Let's hope they don't listen to the podcast in the common area.
They don't even have cell phones. Like, my mom is the most technologically advanced person there.
Oh, really?
She's the only one with a cell phone.
She's
there?
pretty much in the minority of the group that has any technological capability.
Well, she could be the leader of a gang.
My mom used to be the leader of a Chicago street gang when she was in her teens.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not forget about the pivettes and their ability to hide cigarettes when their parents were approaching in the cuff of their sleeves.
How do you think senior homes are going to be like for millennials or Gen Z? Everyone's just going to be like in their own corner, not talking to anyone, just looking at their phone, just trying to play Tetris or something.
And I love all the jokes we see of like, either it's like all the heavy metal people with like their tattoos all stretched out, or whatever group it may be. I just saw a lovely meme on social media that was hey, maybe we should convert all the shopping malls to retirement homes for Gen Xers because it's already got the arcade and the movie theater, and we'll keep the Orange Julius, and it's kind of like, yeah. And then there's glamour shots just for
I
the
forgot
fun
all
of it.
about that, where they would smudge the Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah.
I don't recall that at all.
Yeah. Well, that was it before your time, Junior.
Well, I never even heard of a glamour shot.
Oh, that was like you can't be a certain age and not know.
No,
what glamour shot
and
is.
it's like you would go through like a relative's house or something and like see them every once in a while, like the glamour shots on the walls.
Wow, look at your eyes.
My mother-in-law and
You
wife
did not
have
like
one.
them at all.
No, I didn't really care for. I actually never. Well, I never needed to do that, but I never
It's
had
like,
one myself.
Have you ever gone to like the Wisconsin Dells and you could like dress up like a cowboy and
But
get
that's
put on
fun.
a wanted ad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
That's
same
fun.
thing, except it's just you look pretty and like
Yeah, I don't know.
elegant.
Do men
in a mall?
ever do that? I've never seen a man in a glamour shot.
So that was like the OG filter of smudging your screen with Vaseline, and that was kind of a filter.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just I mean, all the wrinkles are gone. All the.
Wait, you were smudging your face or the lens? Of
I
the
actually saw a
camera?
photo
lens.
though once. I saw a photo once, and they didn't smudge out where the hands were, and so it was like Crypt Keeper. Yeah.
See, now we just do that with Instagram filters, so it's a new age.
Or some people do anyway.
But yeah, no, I think retirement homes for future generations really should adapt. And the wife and I were talking about opening a retirement
Really?
home. We were just like, they're not doing it right.
You would be in charge of a retirement home. What would be some of the big changes here?
Well, I mean, first of all,
You got Craig's retirement home. Come on
Right.
down. What are the 3 big selling points in your brochure?
I mean, it would be a lot more like, what is it, the Villages down in Florida, where it's kind of more of a party all around the clock. I mean, they're gambling. I don't gamble. I think we talked about that
We
last
did talk
week,
about
didn't we?
that.
Yeah.
But, they're having a good time. They're blowing their kids' inheritance. It's all, it's all just about, as I understand it, you may have heard of the Villages. If I'm not mistaken, this is off the top of my head, it's like the geographic location with the highest STD increase on the globe.
No way.
Right. I mean, that's kind of
Like these retirement villages in Florida?
Right. I think it's called the Villages. Like you need like a certain amount of money to be able to get in there. But yeah, like geographically, there is no higher demographic of STD transmission. Apparently, this is an article, I read 10 years ago, but it gets perpetuated by comedians and stuff. It's kind of embedded in our culture, no pun intended.
See, I'm thinking of like when Seinfeld visited his parents in Florida.
Right.
Is that kind of like what you're talking about, or is this something different?
I'm sure. Whether they were in the Villages or not, I get the idea. It's much raunchier.
Oh.
Or it can be much raunchier.
The state with the highest STD rate is Mississippi.
Well, yeah, lowest education, highest STD rate. That makes sense.
But you're talking like a specific geographic region. I'm not finding anything.
I think if you put the Villages, Florida retirement home STD sex into your browser, not only will you get a lot of interesting videos.
Yeah, and who knows what you'll get after that.
And you'll get your own viruses from that as well.
Oh, Milwaukee County is number 9 on the top 10 counties with the highest STD rates per 1,000
It's
citizens.
number 9 out of the United States?
Number 9.
Really?
Right behind Orleans Parish.
So don't have sex in Milwaukee and you should be fine.
Yeah. It shouldn't be too difficult for any of us here.
Natural break in the podcast right there. So dream journals. Who had their dream journal?
Can I just first say something though about
Villages?
this? No, about the dream thing. I dreamt about your mom last night.
I did not expect that coming out of your mouth at all.
You totally took my line. I was totally going to use that. Oh, man.
You dreamed about my mother.
She was eating strawberries.
She does love strawberries.
But this is the thing. Like, my youngest daughter was also at the table. My youngest daughter does not eat strawberries. But it was like a family meal. So we, they weren't the only 2 people there with me. But, other people were sitting there, and Chloe was eating a strawberry as well. And your mom asked her if it tasted like, I don't remember what food it was, but a certain food that was in the refrigerator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Transference of
I don't
taste.
think my mom has met you too many times, right?
Just a few.
Yeah, just a
few.
couple.
Mm-hmm. So you have to ask her, about strawberries or if this means anything. Also, not to take the whole conversation about dreams, but I also did have a dream this morning before I woke up.
That's the best time to have a dream.
Normally, I tend to dream. Once again, I'll say it again this week. I come here to be ridiculed. Anyway, of my own free will. I'm such a masochist. But anyway, I tend to not dream right when I go to sleep. I'll get up maybe an hour or 2 before I wake up, and that's when I have most of my dreams, of course, because I'm not, sleeping for.
You're your most rested.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Or could it be that you just don't remember your dreams from earlier? I can't imagine that. I think I only remember the most recent dream I had in a sleep cycle.
Well, I was writing them down. If I woke up in the middle of the night, I was writing them down.
I didn't.
Because
That's
dreams
a high
are kind
standard.
of like torts. Everyone is going for the top of the tort. You don't remember what you put at the bottom unless you look at the vase.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's Oreo down there.
Yeah, so I was keeping track. But I did have a dream about one of my nieces, and I don't even know if I ever had a dream about her. And I woke up this morning, and this is an interesting thing that I'm going to pose to you too. Because then when I checked my Facebook, it said that today was my friend anniversary with my niece. So I found that, really strange. But
or coincidence, as Neil deGrasse Tyson would say.
Because maybe in my subconscious, I remembered that. And that's why I had the dream. that it was so many years ago that we became friends on Facebook.
Are you normally by default an anniversary-oriented, birthday-oriented person?
No, only for a select few.
And I'm sorry, it was not her birth. It was your friend anniversary.
Her birthday is coming up, but it was our friend anniversary on Facebook.
See, I think
today.
a human being would be more, even subconsciously, be more inclined to remember a person's birthday than the day they met, unless they met on a significant day, like, oh, we met on, Christmas Day. So
It was a Wednesday, October
Right.
13th in 87.
I don't know if the subconscious would necessarily operate that obscurely. I mean, it's already operating pretty obscurely.
Exactly.
That kind of frightens me that there could be a future where we're celebrating Facebook friend days rather than like birthdays or something.
Well, and
like
I
that.
do nothing about that. Like I see that, I'm like, okay. But I just thought that it was odd because I've been having this happen. Cookies, right? Like a lot of things coming up. I had an episode last week where I was talking to Charlie and then my youngest daughter, and she had her phone out. We were talking about like this upcoming party at Lily's that we're going to be having for Halloween. And I was going to say, well, Grandma can just use the elevator. And instead I said, well, Grandma can just use the umbrella. And I'm like, and Chloe looked at me and she turned her phone around and she had just read the word umbrella.
To herself.
In
her mind.
Yes.
Okay.
And instead of saying elevator, I said umbrella.
That happens to me so often with the TV and something I might be reading on my phone. It like happens to me once a week, I want to say, at least, if not like 3 times a day.
You mean
In
like if
some
you're
weird-
talking about something and then it shows up?
Like if I'm reading an article and it says the pony jumped over the gate, and then suddenly whoever on the TV is just like, oh, pony up that money or something like that.
That happens to me on
Interesting.
podcasts. I'll talk to myself. I'm like, yeah, you just got to spit it out. And then someone's like, oh man, he was like spitting all sorts of cool rhymes. Like, oh, that's weird.
Right. I mean, again, the coincidence topic would fit nice right after we talk about the Mandela effect and close out our dream conversation.
Boy, we're going to be making shows all the way to the nursing
Or
home.
what if 5G is beaming signals to our brains when we're sleeping and when we're by our phone? There's a conspiracy for you.
I mean, that's not. I don't know. That is a
I don't know how you measure that,
conspiracy. Yeah, I mean, how do you quantify the ones and zeros that are being transmitted by, whether it's 5G or LTE or whatever, whether it's television waves, whatever it may be. Who's to say that our brain doesn't have some deep-seated receptor ability to something that is cognitively possible for a human to learn? Huh?
Yeah.
There's more silence again.
Well, I mean, it's definitely true though. Like, because we have like a Nest and we have a Google Home, those types of things in our house, and for sure, we'll be talking about something, and then all of a sudden, it will pop up as a suggestion.
Oh, that's just marketing.
Yeah.
That's somehow legal.
Yeah.
That's what my wife does for a living.
Yeah.
Essentially.
She's really adding to the human experience. Thank you.
Right. I mean, we're all going to go home and we're all going to be pitched My Little Pony ads when we
I
pull
hope
up our
so.
phone now.
I love My Little Pony.
I hope I get a My Little Pony ad later. Hopefully my phone picks that up.
Well, so getting back to the journals.
Is that all you had on? You said you wrote something down every day?
No, I had a number of dreams, but
That was what is the craziest dream you had all week?
Oh, the craziest dream? Well, okay, I dreamt that Charlie, the love of my life, was cutting his hair. And so he was cutting his hair and I was watching.
Is that something he normally does?
No.
Okay.
No. And he said, yeah, this is called a zebra. He's like, and next time, just make sure to tell me if you like the way my hair's growing out.
So he was giving himself stripes then.
It's going to grow it long.
Haircut. I mean, I guess at one point he did have a mohawk during his lifetime, so.
Whoa.
Did he show you photos of this?
I have seen one. Yes, it was blue.
Ooh.
So you probably
Wow.
don't grow a mohawk unless you're like really into punk rock or something like that? Did he go through like a punk rock phase in the late 70s.
Is he a Fish fan?
Well, we probably, like, if we want to ask him questions, we probably should have him here someday.
That would be a good guest. I would throw it down. We should have you. Aren't you dating somebody? We should have your girlfriend on this podcast one day.
Well, why don't we use the phone feature? We keep talking about that. Why not have a call?
Talking about that.
Yeah, do it now and see what you get.
It's true. So I only had 2 dreams that I wrote down in my dream journal, which is on the 19th of October. I had one where I was in a casino, like electronic office in a way. Like it was both spaces at the same time. And I'm a huge fan of Mr. Monk.
You mean
the detective?
Yes, from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
So
What is his name?
Oh, Monk.
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he was solving a case where the employee that I was like interviewing, but I was Mr. Monk, was actually the killer in disguise as the employee that he had murdered. And he was using false irises. And then all of a sudden, the casino folded into an arcade. And then I was playing arcade games for a while. And then it folded into a nightclub where I was wearing like a zoot suit in lacrosse.
Wow. Huh. There's a lot going on in that dream.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
I don't even know where to begin.
But
really.
Speaking of coincidences here, so we work with a guy. I'm going to say his name out. I'm going to call him, or should I call him Bob?
I think
I'll call him Bob. So I was in this dream space.
Oh my gosh.
What just happened? You got My Little Pony yet?
I'm sorry. I did not mean to interrupt you.
Please do.
But while we were talking earlier about pickup lines, I Googled pickup lines, funny pickup lines or whatever, my shirt's made of something special. It's 100% boyfriend material. Do you have a spare heart because mine was just stolen? Oh. Look at the website that it's on.
Ponley.
Which, if you were to pronounce it a different way, would be pony with an L.
Huh.
That was deemed acceptable for an interruption? That's what you wanted to show to us
in
right now?
In retrospect, I realize it may not have risen to the level that my reaction had, but it says Pony.
You're an excitable boy. It's okay.
Great album, too.
I know.
You wanted to see Pony, and you ignored the L. That's what happened. What do you have against L's?
Or did it inspire me to think of, maybe I didn't notice it. Subconsciously, I noticed that there was something like Ponley, Ponley, whatever you want to call it. And then so really, wouldn't Neil deGrasse Tyson say that these coincidences really could just be attributed to just like normal kind of things that happen and there's really nothing significant about them at all? Not only that, but I feel like it. I feel like if Neil deGrasse Tyson were to ever hear that we're
talk a lot about. Are you part of his fan club? Are you like selling his merchandise? Like what's up here?
As much as we do, I feel like we would get a cease and desist letter just saying, "Can you please stop putting words in Neil deGrasse Tyson's mouth?"
Oh,
I would not say that.
That would make me sad.
So do we have to rewind the tape? I am so sorry. What did I interrupt?
You interrupted his story about Bob.
Oh,
so
Bob.
Yes.
Bob. So I meant like I'm someplace in California.
This is a dream you had about Bob.
This is a dream about Bob. And I'm in this like outdoor modeling ring. And I enter the ring and somebody is playing kind of a keyboard, kind of like they were swooning you. And they were singing along to a digital Pokemon who was actually singing the lyrics, but he was the actual singer.
Okay.
So I go past him like, well, this is interesting. And all these celebrities are lined up on this side, and it's kind of like a catwalk or something. And we're on the base of it. It's sort of like a cul-de-sac. And I just step in line, and I'm talking to some people. And I see Bob then as people are parading down and turning around, he's in this small little electric car. and Bob gets out of the car, and he starts doing this dance, like this sexy dance, which ends with Bob peeling off his shirt where he is just in shorts and he kind of dances and then there's
he's got shorts on his upper body?
No, he has shorts on his legs.
That's all he has on now.
Okay.
It's just a pair of shorts. And there's like this small pool where Bob's family is swimming, and it's right off to my right as I'm standing in the bleachers.
Is this Bob's actual family, or just some
it was his actual
people
family
that you was okay?
It was Bob's family.
Because we all have met Bob's family.
Sure.
Yeah, and Bob
Great
then
family.
he runs
Wonderful
off,
people.
and Bob does a cannonball and jumps in the pool. And I thought, well, this is odd. And the next day, which was a Sunday, I think, I reached out and I found out it was Bob's birthday. And I had a dream leading up to his day. And I don't keep track of birthdays. I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I knew it was his birthday, and I just kind of sent out that message like, hey, I had a really crazy dream of you, like, peeling off your shirt in a big crowd and doing a cannonball. And he's like, wow, some dream. Like, yeah, I'm just thinking about you. Happy birthday.
Aww.
But there's yet another coincidence. Maybe I knew it was his birthday, but I didn't consciously
Because
know
that's
it.
the same. I mean, you're saying the same. I don't have any kind of tie-in of coincidence like that to my. But I mean, that does raise. Neil deGrasse Tyson has questions. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
Well, he might have answers though, and just say, "Well, it's just in your subconscious because it was put there at some point." So, you know, and your subconscious goes through a colander when you sleep, right? I mean,
I don't think my subconscious is that smart.
no.
Really?
To be date-oriented like that, maybe my subconscious has OCD. Is that possible? Or your subconscious has OCD if it's remembering
probably.
specific dates like that?
Could be your shadow self, maybe?
Right.
Is everything that you are not in your conscious life?
Yeah, but in your subconscious life, you're more likely, if I understand Neil deGrasse Tyson correctly, to revert to more survival-based instincts, and memorization might not necessarily. Memorization of dates doesn't strike me as something that would necessarily be like a caveman survival instinct.
Probably. I mean, yeah, probably not dates. I mean, memorization in and of itself would be.
So then is it something else? If it's not dates, right? Is it some type of cosmic alignment that our subconscious is used to, and it knows that when the moon and the sun were in this position a year ago, you were thinking about Bob.
So I have a question about that. So Neil deGrasse Tyson might say that a lot of how we act is a response to the caveman era.
Right.
How many years ago would we say that is?
Millennia, right?
Oh my
Is it-
gosh.
Wait, so thousands of years.
Right.
Well,
Let's say 50,000.
50,000.
Let's say
Yeah,
50,000 years.
75,000.
What if
Not millennia, 75,000 years.
To the highest man.
What if in 50,000 years from this point in history that our future ancestors, like, what if they're like, I just constantly have this need to, like, crunch over and look at my phones and, like, oh, that was your ancestors 50,000 years ago. They were always on their phones. Like, doesn't it make sense that behavior would kind of move throughout time and history like that?
And you're saying that's a possibility, or you're saying that wouldn't happen?
Well, maybe it would happen because
Right.
we keep attributing all this to our caveman ancestors 50,000 years ago.
Right, yeah.
Or does it just jump at some point?
Right. Why do they put they're moving their hands like they're playing one of those old-fashioned video games,
Or starting a fire.
or starting a
Stoking a fire.
No one
video game
starts
fire.
fires anymore.
No, they don't, not unless you have to.
But
Survivor Man.
I get that. I see where you're going with that. I mean, maybe. And so you seem to be suggesting, again, the collective consciousness idea, which we kind of touched upon with dreams last time, which I would correct myself from last time. If you recall, last time's episode, I talked about how either your brain is just a piece of meat that knows things about this world, or it somehow is capable of tapping into a group consciousness that is allowing you to
I recall that, yeah.
to know these things. And that group consciousness is some, transcendental, crazy thing out there that exists beyond the human plane.
The magic mushroom in the sky.
But I would correct myself to say, well, maybe it could still be like some crazy thing that's out there, but it could still only exist in the human mind too. That's a possibility.
How many mushrooms did you have before you came here tonight?
Like in my whole life in 50 years? I don't
just
know
like
if I
right
could
now.
quantify that.
What are in these chocolates? That's what I'm
I
wondering.
know. I'm waiting for somebody to like start a long dream so I can have a piece of chocolate.
Okay, why don't you have some chocolate? I'll talk about my dreams. I, like Thomas, had 2 dreams that I remembered and wrote down. But the interesting thing about that, this was from the first day and it was from this morning. I didn't have conscious memories of any dreams in the intervening 5 days, which is not uncommon for me. I know I dream every day. Mm-hmm. When I wake up, I usually have some remnants of a fleeting dream, but I do forget about it right away. But at some point, during that day, I'll have a half-second long flash that just kind of puts me into that dream, and it puts a memory of that dream or something into my conscious mind, and I'm like, oh, but then it's fleeting again, and I can't grasp onto it. But it's more of a feeling. It's more like a place or I can't really describe it. It's weird how that happens to me more often than me remembering my dreams, I guess is what I'm getting at. I don't know if you guys have ever
remembering like a film strip of a dream.
So is it kind of like you think like maybe you have left your body and visited somewhere, but you just really don't clearly remember?
No, I mean, maybe that anything that could happen with whatever weird thing happens within the dream, like suddenly I grasp the essence of that, whatever defined that dream, but I only get it for like a second.
Like grabbing a kite string.
Whatever it could be.
But it blows right away from your hand again.
But like grabbing a kite string and flying away on the kite, I suddenly kind of maybe remember flying for a second, although it's not necessarily that cut and dry.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just waxing poetic on dreams. All right. I had 2 dreams that I wrote down the details, and both of them, it seems like I would have made these up for comedic effect, and I did not. These are actual dreams that I had, and these are the pieces of the dreams that I remember, and they're very kind of not big parts of the dreams, but they are parts of the dream. Okay, so last Tuesday, October 16th, as we record this, not as we premiere this podcast, I had a dream. I was at my paternal grandparents' house in Chicago. And the weird thing about this dream is that it was in like sepia tones. I remember it being in sepia tones. And the dream was that my new pet kangaroo.
Okay.
Which sounds like I'm making it up right there, but I'm not.
A little bit.
My new pet kangaroo was like, he was resting or she was resting on my lap. I jostled the kangaroo around, and the kangaroo bit me. In like the hand. I wrote in the hand, but it was like I thought it was like in the arm. And the weird thing about it is that I looked at the bite mark, and the bite mark was like 4 perfectly round holes in like a cube form. Don't ask me why I remember that. Again, this was all at my paternal grandparents' house. And do you know who was in the other room?
Who?
Your grandma.
Thomas's mom.
No way.
No, Thomas's mom wasn't.
No way.
I'm kidding.
What is my mom doing in your guys' dreams?
No, but but this is weird too. This has happened to me in other dreams. At the time, like I knew my uncle who had recently passed away in the last year. I just knew that he was in the other room. I didn't see him in the dream. He wasn't in my dream, but it's like, oh, Uncle Eddie's in the other room. But I've had that with other experience, and not necessarily people living or dead, just people I've dreamt about people like they weren't in the actual dream I was dreaming about. Does that make sense? Like I could have a dream about you, Thomas, and you, LA, and we're talking about Bob, or we're just like, oh, Bob's in the other room, and we're conversating like the whole time, like, oh, we know Bob's in the other room. But like Bob never shows up in my dream. He's just like,
yeah.
He's just present without being there.
I understand you.
Okay. So that was my dream journal from a week ago. This was my dream last night. This dream was set in a Chicago dive bar, which I went to a dive bar when I went to Chicago last time, and I went to go see my daughter's friend's band perform. We went into like a legit like dive bar, but it's in a gentrified part of the city. So it's surrounded by all this like upscale yuppie stuff, but it's still this stuff. But anyway, it was kind of in that bar. That's not very important, but it was very specific. But the bar was in Beaver Dam.
Okay.
And all I really remember was that I was trying to get some sleep in this bar, and I was just so shocked to find out that Flavor Flav was in the bar. Not only was he in the bar, but I was shocked that I didn't realize he was from Beaver Dam. And I was just like, I didn't know Flavor Flav was from Beaver Dam. And like that was the whole dream, was that like I was kicking myself for not remembering that Flavor Flav was from Beaver Dam.
Wow.
Which, just for the record, for those of you not from Beaver Dam that may be listening to this, Flava Flav is not from Beaver Dam. I don't know that he's ever been to Beaver Dam.
Or even ever heard of Beaver Dam.
Or a Beaver Dam.
Are you a Flavor Flav fan?
I don't even know what song.
I don't either. I don't know.
I mean, I know who he is kind of like now, just as like a pop culture mainstream kind of. He's the guy with the clock, right?
I don't really know.
He was married to Brigitte Nielsen, I want to say, a number of years ago.
Oh, was
he? Or
he?
is Eazy-E the one with the clock? No, I think Flava Flav was the one with the clock. And I think
Don't
he was
really
in
know.
NWA.
Oh, yeah, he's the clock guy.
Right, yeah.
Does he have like a grill on his teeth?
I think so.
Possibly. He is from Roosevelt, New York, is where he was born.
Are you sure it's not Roosevelt, New York? That's a
Or
whole
Roosevelt,
conversation.
possibly.
So, yeah. So I had a dream about... And
And you were trying to sleep, though. You were
But
trying to sleep.
I kept on like grabbing my pillow and trying to find like booths to sleep in, and everybody kept waking me up, and I was just like, oh, I'm never gonna get any sleep. Everybody's talking about Flava Flav being from Beaver Dam, and he's in the bar. I'm never gonna get any sleep.
Maybe
Wow,
you
that's a
were
great
thinking
dream.
about the time Beaver Dam when Public Enemy was filming here.
Oh, Public Enemy the movie,
Yeah.
not the band.
Not the group that Flavor Flav was a part of.
We did have Flo Rida did play at MVPs in downtown Beaver Dam. That was kind of one of those crazy
Was that-
type of,
Stormy's now?
which is now Stormy's,
Okay.
correct.
That's strange. Wow.
Yeah. Like he slipped into town because he, a promoter, whatever. And it was at a time when he was big too. It wasn't like at a time when he was before he had popped. He had already popped. And I mean, it's a big venue for Beaver Dam, but it's not a big venue for hosting a national touring act.
Not at all.
necessarily.
Can I ask, what percentage of your dreams typically happen in Chicago or Illinois?
It's funny, 100% according to this. A lot of them do. A lot of them do, I think. As far as locations of my dreams, though, we touched upon recurring dreams last week. I have recurring locations in my dreams of places that I know are my house. They're not my house. I've never seen this place before, but in my dream, it's like, oh, this is my house. I've been here for years, and there's always this one thing that is always in common. Many of the houses, there's maybe like 3 or 4 of them that I have clear memories of in my head, and I've repeatedly dreamt about them over my life. But in every one of these dreams, there's always a room in this house that I had underutilized or never used before and started using and was like, oh, why didn't I ever use this room before? This is such a perfect room. I love this room. Look how versatile it is. And there's a TV and a beautiful view out the window and all, and it's just like, why? I should have been using this room the whole time.
See, my mom has dreams like that too, though, where she discovers a room that she didn't know that she had.
In her current existing
in her house. Yes.
Okay.
So I wonder what that means.
And I've had that in my own house too. I guess I should say that. Like a part of my house that like, oh, I didn't know about this room which doesn't exist in real life.
See, I don't think I've ever had a dream like that.
Okay.
Ever.
So I kind of think about memory palaces, the concept of like using a physical place, and that is your palace in your mind where you can set shapes. So maybe the bathroom is like all your memories of you in high school, and your bedroom is like all the memories of like you and your loved one, your partner. Maybe the secret room is like a part of yourself in your mind that's being opened up to you that you never really realized you had.
Yes, I definitely can follow that logic. I think some dream logic is a little shaky of how A gets to B and B gets to C, but I certainly would not disagree with that at all. I'm sure there's some dream analyst out there right away that A knows I'm like a serial killer or something that's about to strike, whatever they might project into that. But yeah, no, I think that that makes sense, that I'm discovering something new within myself that I hadn't known about before, and I'm now tapping into that, whatever talent or something that maybe went underutilized in my life. So I'm sure there's some direct A causes B causes C, and that's probably a little bit more apparent. Why a kangaroo was jostling around on my lap?
Yeah, that's odd. But I do have something to say about the bite marks.
Yeah.
Because if this was last Tuesday, we had mentioned about the time that my daughters and I saw the orbs in the sky, and there were 4 of them in a distinct pattern. Orbs.
Yeah.
And
Orbs are circular.
this was after talking to you about how you said that when you're flying in your dreams, you kind of get up to the height of like telephone lines, and that's where we saw the orbs. So maybe somehow that made its way into your dream on your arm as a kangaroo bite.
I mean, it could be because the thing that struck me about the holes in my arm was that they were not like organically made by teeth. They were mechanical, which...
Oh.
You know, were perfect circles. Each hole was it was almost like, you know, if you were to have four pins on or something shoved into my flesh.
And it wasn't bleeding?
No, not necessarily. No, it was more. I was more visibly able to see the blood. There was no blood, and again, it was a sepia toned dream. It was like a orange heavy sepia toned dream, which may be the first time in my life I've ever recognized the state of my dream color, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There was a while there where somebody said, "Oh, everybody dreams in black and white." And it was years before I was able to like kind of be like, no, I just dream in whatever my memory color is, which is the same as my reality color. I'm not colorblind. I have color blindness in my family. But I dream most of the time that I can recall in just whatever the color of my memories are, which is the same color as what I'm experiencing right now.
So dreams, this was a huge topic last week in conversation. And unfortunately, when the microphone stopped last week, there was something else that could have been recorded. And we're going to bring it up now. It was my apparent, I guess, phantom attitude. I didn't realize that I insulted L.A. inadvertently. And I'm wondering, can you guys explain exactly what happened and what my faux pas was?
Well, you said that
We were talking about Photoshop,
an edited
right?
photo of me
Yes.
looked so good because it was edited.
So I did say that. So I said,
No, yeah, you said, "Oh, L.A., you looked really good in that photo because it was photoshopped."
and that was,
They gave me a tan. They whitened my teeth. Yes.
I want to apologize first off, as I'm recording now, because I never did that last week. But I was thinking about the apology. So I said that a photo of you that was photoshopped looked better than you.
No, I don't think he said that.
You know, I don't think you didn't say better. That could have been just my inference of what you said. But just the fact, I think that you said that didn't he say that it looked so good or that looks so good because
Here is my memory of it. I have been married for decades, and so I have been trained to be naturally reactive anytime I even circle in on something that
Honestly,
might be kind of
Just
insulting.
even the way you're sitting, it's almost like you're holding a bomb. Like you're afraid to even like move or make any facial expressions or anything.
Yeah, well, that's there could be a lot of truth in that. So what I really sensed more that Thomas was in the neighborhood of something that could be considered offensive to, you know, and I don't,
LA,
A person.
I don't want to ascribe genders to it necessarily. You don't have to be of a certain gender necessarily to maybe be more sensitive about something or not, or whatever that may be. And not that LA... Crap, did I just insult LA and call her overly sensitive? I didn't mean to.
I didn't hear that. But I don't have that radar that you have tempered over many years.
And it is so refined, but it still fails me all the time.
Yeah, it does.
Shoot, I did insult her.
No.
So what?
I think everybody has sensitivity levels. We all do. And some of them are in different topics. And I think what I did was I sensed that was something that could be considered offensive based on what I know about you, even though I don't think necessarily on its face it was. It was just kind of more of one of those like, uh-oh.
Yes. And I know that you didn't mean to say anything that I could have taken as an insult, but I think that almost makes it hurt more.
Okay, so I'm going to try and explain myself like I did last time in my very mechanical man brain. And that was, of course, it would look better because you were able to spend more time on the photo, modifying it from real life.
Modifying what?
None of this is helping your case,
not
Thomas. So you're just digging the hole deeper.
The image. Because I think about it from like audio production, right? So we recorded this podcast and I change our levels and I make sure that we sound equal, right? It's post-production. I'm putting more time into it. Lots of chocolate on the table.
Have some chocolate.
But of course, like anything you put into post-production is going to be better, almost removed completely from reality in some way. So it did look better, but it also wasn't really you. Oh, crap. I'm so bad at this.
This didn't, and none of this happened on the show, right? This happened after we had
None of
stopped.
this was recorded last week.
Right. So, I mean, we'll never remember exactly what
But that was
said.
essentially kind of like the point in how things happen.
I mean, everything that we enhance our photos, we enhance our audio. We're in a state, and we use the word enhance. I mean, that's just inherent to the process. That is the verb that is used. And enhance does imply make better, which is, I think, where then we run into trouble when we say, like, oh, this could apply to anybody. Oh, we enhanced this photo.
It's like the glamour shot.
It's just like the glamour shot.
It's like the filter culture we're in. Because would you say to somebody like, oh, you look so much better in that filter than you do in real life? I suppose when you put it that way, it does sound rather insulting. But people, that's why they use filters, is because they do make people look better than they actually do in real life.
He just said it again. He just said that picture.
I'm not.
You just keep taking the whole deeper.
So it is true. I am very pale.
That's not at all what
So
I was
He did not mention specifics.
They did give me a tan. My teeth are slightly stained because I had like some weird medication when I was a child because I had pneumonia like 3 times before I was 2.
Wait, what?
And it affected the enamel of my teeth. See, they're not perfectly white. I do not have perfectly white teeth.
They're pretty
And
good.
The lighting in this room is
my
not great for
teeth
that.
Not working
in the
at all.
photo.
Okay.
And I like to think that's all that was really changed. But maybe they actually made me look thinner, which for...
You couldn't possibly get any more thin than what you are right now.
Have another chocolate from the chocolate charcuterie tray.
Maybe they like erased some of the wrinkles. Maybe I didn't have sleepy bags under my eyes like I typically do lately. Which I understand, yes, that is better. If I could do that without like having to really put much effort into it.
Is it better? What is better mean?
It's less human.
Well, yeah, obviously I don't wear makeup. I don't wear makeup except for like special occasions. And so it does feel odd to me when I go to a place like this and I'm in a commercial and they put a lot of makeup on me. Like I go into the bathroom and I don't recognize myself either. But I don't think it looks better is the thing, I guess.
That's where you screwed
and
up,
I
boy.
think that's just where I think that's
man.
kind of just where maybe it probably is my insecurities coming through because it is something I am insecure about. As much as I am for pro-aging, I am very insecure about it too. And I do have a fear of getting older. I do. There it is.
What is the language then that you would use in saying that somebody in a altered picture looks good?
You look digitally edited?
Right, because you don't want to be so... I mean, you can't... I guess you can take it so far in the other direction to say, oh, you look almost unhuman in this digitally edited version.
That's not
How
good
do you
either.
compliment a picture of somebody that's to somebody that it's the picture of that has been digitally altered? I don't know. I think by what we're enforcing here, and I say we because I don't want to be in trouble like Thomas.
We're on this together right now.
No, it's
I'm
Ellie
pretty
and
sure
I.
you insulted
You're
her
sitting
5 minutes
closer to me
ago.
than Thomas, so yeah.
I think if there is no right way to say it, then maybe it's not wrong how it was said.
I just might not. You could say polished. Boy, you look polished.
Oh,
you know?
looks like there's a right way to say it, Thomas. There blows my
Polished.
theory out. I
Polished.
tried to have your back, buddy.
But I know that you would never intentionally insult me. I know that. But it's just my own demons that I have to deal with, really.
So that's true. I would never insult you. But in that situation, then I would probably, if someone showed me a photo and it was like a filter, I'm like, oh, that's a photo of you. And that's all I would say. I would not say anything else. I wouldn't say you look great or nothing. It's just going to be neutral. It's just a statement. That's you in a photo.
Wait, now that's what you're going to say?
Well,
every time
what else do I say? Like,
see a
unless I just say
picture?
that looks polished. Like, is that the safe word? What do I do?
You look what? Yeah, because if you say you look like a different person, then that other person might be inclined to imply, "Oh, are you saying I look better in the picture than
Because
I
I
do in
don't
real life?"
look like me in real life.
Well, I think what like the beginning of the conversation was that I had mentioned that someone said that if they walked by that photo, they wouldn't even know it was me.
Oh yeah, and then you
Yes.
said,
And
"Yeah,
then
you're so good at it."
you said,
Oh, great. Now it's all coming back to you. Correct.
See, when you say that we didn't record the conversation, so we can't really remember. Well, I remember.
We're reenacting it right now.
We
That's
remember
great.
the spirit of it for sure.
Right. And then you proceeded to say, well, I mean, you're edited, so.
Yeah, you dug a deeper hole after the
I don't know if I
statement
can
than
say
you
anything
did
right
during.
now. I feel like I have to be totally quiet during the rest of this podcast.
No, you don't have to be totally quiet.
Well, the podcast is over, so that'll be easy.
We're almost there.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
not fine.
Going forward, if there is a young gentleman who really likes someone and they show him a photo and what do you think about this photo? What do they say to a photo that looks like it has been edited?
You could look at the photo and say, oh, wow, this has been edited. It looks great. But you're so much better looking in real life.
Oh, that's great.
That's what you should
I'm
have
going to write
said.
that down.
Yeah,
That's great.
That's what you should. Can we talk about what the photo is that we're talking about?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine to talk about it. It's just for Oneida Casino.
Oneida
Casino.
I can't even pronounce words now. Oneida
it's
I said it again. The Oneida Casino.
Yeah, so I just did I don't know. It's not like video commercials or anything. It was just like print work. So it was for things, I guess, that this particular picture was up at the casino for a special that was going on at the hotel that's, the Radisson, I think, next to the casino for a special during October. And they stay one night, get one night free or something. And so it was like me and the guy that I was supposed to be with, and he's married. So I wasn't, and then another
This is
couple.
in the photo? This
Yes.
is a lot of backstory.
Yeah.
There's a lot of story here.
I can't just answer a question, right? I always have to add extra, I guess. But so it was just up at the casino, and this guy that I'm supposed to be with, his friend was there, took a picture of it and said, hey, look what I saw, because I had never seen the picture before, obviously. So, but I there were mailings that went out that Charlie actually even said that he's pretty certain he received one of the mailings that I was on from the casino before we even met each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then so you were sitting there at the casino looking at the picture of you, and some guy just came up and was like, wow, look at that hot woman in that picture. Can you believe how hot she is? And you were just like, and then he just walked away. Is that what happened?
What?
Yeah, that's how I heard it.
No.
That
what?
person was so insensitive. I can't believe they said that to you.
He's worse than Thomas.
So rude.
Huh?
I like that reality.
But long story short, you seem to be getting a lot of work because you're in a commercial too, right? Is that on right now? Is that an internet commercial? Is that a broadcast commercial?
I think it's like in the Milwaukee area. I don't know if it should be on TV, I guess.
Oh,
or,
wow.
Yeah.
And what
I mean,
is
I
that
don't
one
have
for?
TV. We just have streaming services.
That
so.
is that another casino?
No, that was for a plastic surgery company, and I was supposed to look like the returning customer, which I thought was a compliment because obviously I haven't had plastic surgery, so.
Well, that motorcycle
yes.
would disagree.
I know. So yeah, I am, and it's nice. I enjoy doing it because it's easy and it's good money and.
And you look so radiant when you come out of that office, like so
Do
like
I?
you've done a great job, doctor.
Yeah.
Nobody could do the work that you do.
And you kind of look at like the woman who's waiting to get the surgery
That
done.
was
Like,
the idea.
like,
yeah.
come on, lady,
That
it's
was
time.
the idea.
You're in luck. You found the right place.
Yeah. So.
So you're able to convey that emotion without words in what is all of about a few seconds. That's
Yeah.
that's remarkable.
That's acting.
That's acting.
It is
right there.
acting. Yes.
That's is there anything else in the pipeline, or how many casinos have you done work for? Do
No,
you
just one.
Do you have a
Just
gambling
one.
habit? Do you
I do
owe all
not.
These
In fact,
casinos
I've
money?
never gambled. Well, you know what? I have to take that back. I think I did gamble when I was there for the shoot because they gave you like a $10 voucher. And so I think I lost $6. So I still have $4 on the voucher wherever it is. So
Oh, you didn't cash the voucher
I
in?
didn't. No, I didn't.
What do you mean she doesn't enjoy gambling? She's gambling for self-esteem, apparently, every time she shows me a photo.
Oh, good one. Yeah.
True. That's true.
Well, I actually just I turned down an audition for did I tell you about this? For a cruise line.
Oh, you did last week.
Yes.
You mentioned it before the
that's
show.
right.
That was, I guess, taking a cruise near Antarctica.
But you didn't say you turned down the audition when you told us. You
Well, I
said,
didn't have time to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
That's what it
All right.
said.
So same 6 of one, half a dozen
yeah,
of the other.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So I just didn't have time to do it. So.
You couldn't squeeze a cruise in between podcasts.
No.
Well,
I get
it was even just the
why I don't go
audition.
on
The
cruises.
You have a
audition was
rigid
really
schedule.
there were a lot of things that they wanted you to do in the audition. But then even if you did get the job, then some of what you had to do on this cruise in Antarctica was like polar plunging, kayaking in frigid waters.
Sounds like fun.
Not really my cup of tea.
The polar plunge I get, but the kayak part should be warm. If you do everything right, you know, the water is just the water.
Should be, but it was going to be like end of November and near Antarctica, so it's probably pretty cold.
But you would have been geared out appropriately for it.
I hope so,
With
but I don't know.
experts.
Yeah, or I could have died. I don't know. I think I just narrowly escaped dying by not doing this. So.
But think about how amazing you would look in the picture that would be taken of you in the kayak.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be
Right.
remarkable.
Yeah.
I could have looked at that phone and said, wow, that kayak looks so edited right now. How do they do
yeah,
that? Wow.
yeah. They'd probably have to edit out my blue lips for sure. I don't handle cold too well.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So.
Blue lips. I was thinking of.
Yes.
You want to transition
yes.
that, Craig, to something?
No, I was thinking of Laura Palmer.
Oh,
That's
she wore
immediately
them
what
well
it made me
though.
think of.
She looked really good with blue
yeah.
lips.
She did.
Yeah,
look really
she did.
good with blue lips. And that photo was enhanced because obviously the actress was alive when she did that.
Was.
So
Yeah, it was enhanced, not edited makeup.
How do you think you would like that as like an acting career if you were known for being a dead body on a famous TV show?
As long as they paid me, I'd be fine with that.
what an easy, you don't have any lines to memorize.
I know.
You don't have to convey any emotions.
Lie there.
Really, the only thing you could do, the only way you could screw that up is by doing anything.
But isn't that true? Like anytime, like watching TV shows or movies, I mean, I remember doing this as a kid. If somebody was supposed to be dead and you're like, oh, I can see him breathing. I can see them breathing. It's terrible acting because they're still breathing.
Yeah, but like the human body does move, as I understand it.
Yes, it does.
After death, there are gastrointestinal things. There are involuntary muscle movements.
Mm-hmm.
There are a whole myriad of things that apparently freak out people who work in morgues.
Even murmurs, right?
Murmurs,
Like
they say things, right?
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't want to think about that.
It's probably some of the natural gases being released.
Didn't King Henry VIII kind of like explode or something because he had so many gases built up in his body that he just...
That topic and more on the next episode of
The Great Beaver Fiasco.
Available on
Podbean.
And
Spotify.
maybe YouTube if
Maybe.
Craig ever gets around to posting it.
Maybe.
where can we like and subscribe?
Facebook.
Any other well wishes or any advice to anyone out there about complimenting photos?
Do I have advice?
Yes.
Well, just don't show your pictures to Thomas.
Thanks.
Remember your dreams,
I really
folks.
needed that.
Keep your dreams close and those enhanced pictures of you even closer.
Right. Thanks for the chocolate.
That is a chocolatey cooter tray is what that is there.
Thanks for the
I can't
chocolate
believe you
cooter.
actually said that. Like, that's
What?
a chocolate cooter tray?
It's a
chocolate
it's
cooter.
chocolates and it's a charcuterie tray.
Beaver Dam, Wisconsin's got peonies and parades. Beaverton, Oregon's where shoes are made.
Sorta.
Beaver Dam, everywhere the people all say, have a gosh dang beaver darn great damn day.